the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are in a weird spot as a franchise. You've got a lot of talent left over from that Super Bowl win in 2020, but everybody's aging, and I think it's very possible that if you're going to have a Super Bowl win ever again in Tampa, you probably got to rebuild and restart over. It's not even clear right now if Baker Mayfield's going to be the starting quarterback in Tampa. I don't know why, but they keep saying it's going to be Baker or Kyle Trask. I don't know if that's like a college strategy where they're trying to wait till the last minute to announce the starting quarterback. It's bizarre to me. I can't imagine a reality where Kyle Trask beats out Baker Mayfield, but I don't know. I mean, Baker Mayfield's been such a roller coaster to watch his career. Starting quarterback wins a playoff game in Cleveland, then kind of falls off. Goes to Carolina, does nothing. Goes to the Rams and does a good job for like a couple games. I mean, Baker Mayfield's a wild card here. I have no idea what to expect from him, and I'm not going to lie to you, pretend I do. It's just could go a myriad of different directions. Now, there is some really talented guys in Tampa. They've got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin at receiver. They've also got Russell Gage. They've got Tristan Wirfs, who was a stud right tackle, moving over to left tackle. I can't imagine he's suddenly going to stop being a good tackle in the NFL. I know it's a little bit different on the left side than the right side, but I think Tristan Wirfs is going to make that move really well and play at a high level. You got Vita Vea at defensive tackle. Got a good linebacker core. Shaq Barrett, Levante David, Devin White. A good secondary corners are Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis. Got Antoine Winfield Jr. at safety. This offensive line in Tampa only has two guys left from that Super Bowl win, but they're still solid in my opinion. You've got Tristan Wirfs at left tackle and center Ryan Jensen. Yes, those are the two guys left over from that Super Bowl. But they've got a second-year lineman, Luke Goedeke, who is switching over to right tackle. Luke Goedeke, I think is how you actually say that. Good for him. They've got a second-round pick, Cody Mock, who is expected to start at right guard. I love this guy, Cody Mock. He's got a huge personality. He's missing his two front teeth. Played at North Dakota State. Just an awesome guy. Like, go watch interviews of Cody Mock, by the way. Just full of fun and joy and personality. The kind of guy I'd like to get a beer with and hang out with in real life. They got a new left guard, Matt Filer, coming over from Pittsburgh. I don't think it's a terrible offensive line. And again, I'm just not sure what to expect from Baker Mayfield, their starting quarterback. It's very surprising to me that he's not been named the clear starting quarterback over Kyle Trask. It's not like Kyle Trask, who he did play at Florida years ago, he's not very physically gifted, in my opinion. Kyle Trask isn't playing in an offense he knows better than Baker Mayfield. It's not like they kept the same system. They hired a new offensive coordinator, Dave Canales. So I don't know how it's possible Kyle Trask is competing with Baker Mayfield. Maybe he's better than I anticipated. I'm not sure. But I have Tampa going 6-11 this fall. I'm not really confident in this football team. And if 6-11 is what happens, I think it's very likely they will fire their head coach, Todd Bowles, a guy who he's a good defensive coach. He'll land on his feet, probably get a defensive coordinator job somewhere. Maybe next offseason what could happen in Tampa is they make a trade for Kyler Murray, the quarterback in Arizona. Maybe they bring in Kyler Murray, they hire an offensive head coach. I mean, I don't know what the future looks like in Tampa, but we also have to acknowledge I have them at 6-11. I'm not confident in them because I just don't know what to make of Baker Mayfield. And again, they got this aging football team with questions on the offensive line. However, the NFC South is up for grabs. I really think that it's a tight race between New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina. I'm really curious if Tampa can insert themselves into that competition. And you have to acknowledge, if Baker Mayfield can play at a high level, this is the very best situation he's probably ever going to find himself in the NFL. Throwing to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, a solid offensive line, a capable defense. I mean, it's very possible Baker Mayfield is exactly what Tampa needs and becomes their franchise quarterback. I want to open up that possibility. I'm not real confident in that. Partially because, again, why is it taking him so long to win the starting quarterback job? That makes no sense to me. But again, Baker's a wild card here. If Baker's great, Tampa could make some noise and maybe easily win their division. I mean, if Baker does really well, there's a lot of potential here. He also plays his former team Carolina twice. That's a fun, interesting wrinkle. So I have an open mind here. I have Tampa going 6-11. I'm not real confident in them, but I want to leave the door open for, you know what? Baker could work out. This is I know kind of wishy-washy, but this division, the NFC South, is just it's a weird division that I feel like anyone could win. If things go right for any team here, one of them is going to come out on top, and I think it's actually all really neck and neck. One guy worth noting before we move on from Tampa is that I'm really interested in Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. He's a pass rusher, edge defender, whatever you want to call him. He was a former first-round pick. In the first 2 years of his career, he had 8 sacks. And if Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, that name is so difficult. I don't know. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka. He played at Washington. He's awesome. If he had a breakout year this year, him and Shaq Barrett could be a really interesting dynamic duo. He's physically gifted, Tryon-Shoyinka, but he's got to play at a high level. I've kind of been waiting for this guy to pop. It hasn't really happened. I've got an open mind. He's going into year 3. Again, I think there's potential here where he could be really good. We'll see what happens, but that's a guy that, if he turns out to be great, has a really good third year in the NFL, this defense could be pretty good, get a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and maybe make guys like Derek Carr really, really struggle. So what do you think is going to happen to Baker Mayfield? I'm not sure, man. He hasn't given me reason to believe in him. So I'd like to see Baker be great. I like him as a person. I think he's fun. I think there's a chance here that he's exactly the leader and motivating force they need in Tampa, but I'm also just not willing to bet on the guy at all.